It's here. It's freaking here. I'm so freaking excited. You get up early. You better hope that something big happens, and something big just happened. It feels so good to be a Nintendo fan. It feels so good to trust in SwitchForce, and it feels so good to see this screen. Are y'all ready? Give me your thumbs up. Give me your comments. What do you predict for 9/13/2022 for a 40-minute Nintendo Switch Direct at 7 a.m. Pacific, 10 a.m. Eastern? That is a bright and early show. Holy cow. They really don't want me to sleep around these parts. All right, this is going to be 7 a.m. Pacific, 10 a.m. Eastern. We gonna be streaming bright and early. All right, I'll see y'all at that 9 a.m. stream as we party together for 40 minutes of information, mostly focused on Nintendo Switch games launching this winter. This winter. First of all, whoops, that's not me. This is me. I told you. I made the direct predictions before anybody else because we knew it was happening. All good. Direct Mini? Nope. Direct Partner Showcase? Nope. Full on Direct? Thank you, Jeff Grubb. Thank you, Nate Drake. Thank you. This is now poised to be a show that can go a lot of different directions, all right? They say this winter, and winter generally spreads from like November to like March. So this will include 2023 titles. I believe that strongly. But what's interesting here is not a single blip about Zelda Breath of the Wild 2, and that's a game that people were very confident would appear at this Direct, or at least some were. Jeff Grubb said, oh, we'll see the name, it's going to be Zelda focused. That could go either way. I would not get your hopes entirely tied to BOTW2. I think there is a chance, and even a good chance, that it does not show up, and there's either a specific Zelda show at some point, or it's a Game Awards reveal, or it's delayed. So please, let's hype responsibly, but let's also talk about some things that will for sure be there. I do think the Wind Waker Twilight Princess ports that have been rumored for years will be there. I do think Metroid Prime Remastered will be there. I do think we're also seeing Nintendo Switch Online. All right, I do think that that is going to get a substantial update. They happen in September. We haven't got one for a long time, and it makes perfect sense. Now, in terms of the 2023 slate, that's where things get a bit interesting. All right, there's a lot of games that could fill that slot. I've already mentioned a couple of them in my predictions video. If you want to see more detail, you can obviously go back and watch yesterday's vid, but I talked about Donkey Kong and Mario, 2D Mario in particular. EPD Tokyo is working on Donkey Kong. We know that. When are they going to show it? Feels like it's been a long time coming, and it would make sense to be a nice early year game. In fact, I could see Donkey Kong taking the Kirby and the Forgotten Land slot in 2023. Remember, in March, Kirby did incredibly well and ended up pushing to be, well, it either is or will eventually be the biggest seller in the franchise. Donkey Kong, maybe they can do the same. Maybe they have a bold idea and can really build upon their March release and do that again. Now, there could also be a January release, but that feels more like a remaster. And there's a part of me that thinks perhaps Metroid Prime Remaster will shift to January. I don't know. Things happen, and even though we've been hearing a lot about this being a 2022 holiday launch, maybe it is the January game after all, or maybe it's the March game. Who knows? But I also want to point out the game that I purposefully did not mention in my predictions just because it's been known and we've even seen a screenshot. Fire Emblem. All right, there is a new mainline Fire Emblem being worked on. We've seen like a straight up screenshot leak a while back about it, and I think that is something that, you know, could easily appear at this showcase, right? We easily could see a new Fire Emblem, and in fact, that could even be the big shebang. That could be the big final piece of this puzzle. I'm not saying it will be for sure, but it definitely could be. Now, that to me is not that exciting, but I know it's very exciting for a lot of people. I'm not going to put my personal preferences above the rest of the greater world. I just know that Fire Emblem is not, because it's already known, because we've seen the screenshot, I wouldn't be super crazed about it. I would much rather see Donkey Kong or Star Fox or an Animal Crossing spin-off or something bold and new. Now, there's also the chance of a new IP or a game nobody's predicting. We always think we go into these directs knowing exactly what's going to go down, and then I feel like we are more often than not shocked and awed. And sometimes it's shocked and awed in the bad sense, and sometimes it's shocked and awed in the good sense. And this one could be either, but the big thing here, and I want you to really focus in on this, this was sort of tempered. As we got closer, people were saying, well, maybe it's a Direct Mini. Maybe there's no announcement, and it's just going to be a short showcase in the morning. The morning is weird. Directs usually take place in the afternoon or evening. And the reason for this, I believe, is to get in before Tokyo Game Show. I feel like that's what they're trying to do here. And so they are utilizing a morning slot that typically has been used for Direct Mini when they introduced those a couple years back. So it made sense that we were a bit worried, especially once Emily Rogers heard it was a morning show. But again, the big news is that this is a full 40-minute presentation. That is a full boom shakalaka from Nintendo, dropping details on everything else for 2022, and then everything coming in the first quarter of 2023, including potentially Breath of the Wild 2. Like, I do want to wrap back around and say BOTW 2 could be a substantial part. It could be the focal piece of this showcase. I don't know. They like to be coy, they like to be clever, they like to be tricky, but I feel like maybe if this was Zelda-centric, they would have said, like, focusing on information for, Zelda Breath of the new look for Zelda Breath of the Wild 2. It also does say mostly focused on Nintendo Switch games launching this winter, so that does offer the opportunity for spring games, which Breath of the Wild 2 is. It offers the opportunity for Switch Online. It offers the opportunity for a Mario movie trailer. They always leave themselves some room to spare so that they can sneak in other things. And inevitably, the pattern holds that they do. This will not be exclusively games in the next 4 or 5 months. They will have more than that. And that to me is the most exciting piece because we know very little. We've gotten a lot of big franchises. Many have shown out and succeeded on Switch. Which is next? Is something like Pikmin 4 due? Like a surprise that people aren't talking about? As F-Zero really does return, that is substantial and shows Nintendo really is listening, like some of these insiders say. There's also an opportunity for Hollow Knight or Sports Story to make an appearance. Both games have not been heard from for a long time, and both games I think are substantial enough for Nintendo that they could appear here. Maybe a crossover, maybe a Mario Rabbids rehash from what Ubisoft showed, but I hope you guys get in all your predictions, and I hope you're ready to join me for this big show. We always make these super fun, so definitely tune in tomorrow. We're streaming early, 9 a.m. Eastern, all right, 6 a.m. Pacific. I'm going to get up. I'm going to get my tea. I got the Thanos mug out today because I was like, dude, I know once the snap happens at 7, the world will never be the same. Either we have a direct and everybody goes crazy and gets excited, or nothing happens, and it's a really big bummer. It's always so spooky and scary for me because I really feel like I believe in these things very strongly, and I feel like I really know, or at least I think I know, and I get attached to it, and I was really confident today. By the way, my good friend Pat over at Nintendo Talk, we did a lot of Animal Crossing streams and podcasts together. He said that if his tweet got 500 likes and there was a direct announced on Monday, he'd dye his hair red. He got well over 500 likes. The direct was announced on Monday. Please go remind him, if you have a spare second on Twitter, that's at Nintendo Talk, that you expect receipts. You want to see that hair dyed red. Now, I'm not going to dye my hair red, but I will be here to cover all the Nintendo Direct, and I hope you'll join me. This is a beautiful, magical day. Get your last-minute predictions in the comments down below. No Mario Kart Wave 3. I think it's too soon. Yes, Mario Party DLC. No Pokemon featured. Yes, Game Boy Advance. There's a couple last-minute ones for you. All right, and I do think we see Jet Dragon from Grezzo. All right, until next time, everybody. Thanks so much for watching. Stay safe, stay healthy, stay happy, stay positive. Nintendo Direct 9/13/2022. Let's hope it's the best ever. Until then, thanks again. SwitchForce out.